Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. So, my name's Sugi Yamagawa, and today on VTubing My Slow Life Hobbies in My 30s, we're bringing in the hop harvest. Doesn't look like we got a lot here right now, but trust me, I have a fair deal of binds behind me to go through and fill up our handy dandy little bin here. So, we certainly do have plenty of work, so I hope everyone out there is having a great day. I have to say, I've had a pretty solid day. It was a fairly solid day, other than when I was working like pre-stream to actually get get all this stuff like pulled for today. Yeah, it has been completely unreasonably. Wait, did VTube Studio just stop? Oh no, I just froze for a second. Okay. Weird. Okay. Whatevers. But yeah, like this is not heavy. This was not heavy work. The pull the binds. It wasn't. Like it was actually real easy. I actually made it easier for me this year than past years with incredible technology. Now behold the incredible technology. So what you see here, the yellow thing there, that is a pole pruner, and I was basically able to like snip the twine strings that I had the hops growing on, and I was just able to like snip them down and down, which made it real easy for me. Wait a second. Hey, what's going on? OBS. Whoa, what's going on? Whoa, okay, I'm back now. Ugh. I don't... Like, my setup's been acting a little bit weird here over the past few days. I'm gonna have to really watch it, but also, let's have a beer. This has been way too hot. So, here we have the Mighty Hop Cone. And this one is actually a really good example of one that's a little bit too old, if you will, or a little bit too overripe. You can see how one of the brackets is starting to brown a little bit. That's a sign that your hop's getting like a little bit too old. But that yellow right there, that's the golden powder. That's the thing that makes the beer delicious. That's the lupine powder. That's the good stuff. But yeah. And this is literally what hop harvesting is at the end of the day, is just going through and just picking out the cones one by one as you work down the vines. So this is definitely going to be a more... Ooh, wait, is that a feller? That's a feller. And also finding friends. There's going to be a fair amount of finding friends. Hopefully most of our friends are friendly. But yeah, we got a friend right there. He can hang out over there, or I can keep an eye on him. But yeah, I have in the past have found stuff like tree frogs in my hop binds, even after like pulling them down aggressively. Granted, these weren't pulled down too aggressively this year. These got treated pretty nice. And then there's even like another example of an almost too ripe cone right there. But yeah, you want to see them nice and green, and then when you pull back the bracts, you see the magic yellow powder. That's the good stuff. That's how you know your hop is right. And also, cheers. But yeah, this has been... I really need to... I need to one bind flow this. So I'm going to yeet that off to the side for now, because, well, having more than one bind on my work surface is too much. Which, hops are binds, not vines, because hops actually use stiff hairs. And also, over the course of handling all these hops today, I will not be surprised if my finger begins to yellow up from all the, well, all the magic powder, the lupin powder. Okay, so that's our first short one done, which gets yeeted onto floor. I had that small one earlier. And this is a small one from earlier. This has got smaller cones on it. And then we work through this one. But yeah, this is just kind of like chill, yep stream. Occasionally talk about hops, which, well, occasionally talk about various subjects related to gardening and also beer. I was wanting to be a little bit more researched for today, but work ended up being I pretty much had a full day of work today. I was kind of hoping for a light day, but I've been hoping for weeks now to have a light. I mean, we did have like one really nice light day, like 2 weeks ago, roughly about. Which was nice, but the work's been nonstop. It has been nonstop, but that is my job. That is my job. Okay, so that's one done. Well, another one done. Now, time to go through my pile here, which is this is literally a pile. It's literally a pile. And thing is, some of these are... Is that just pulling through? That's just pulling through. Okay, we're gonna eventually get around to that. We're gonna eventually get around to that. But yeah, eventually I'll have a big one come up on here and we'll go through process... kind of like what the processes for like going through the larger ones. The larger ones are definitely a lot more process, whereas these guys are like nothing. It's great. I actually really like these because it's real easy. I don't have to be like digging in the forest for hops, because that's how some of these get with the amount of like hops on them. Okay, so this one really gotta do some processing on. So we did that. And then I've got that branch. Oh, you got branches to you. This is like an advanced high level. And then, because I want to make my life easier for myself, do that. And what I just did is I split it. So, coming at you. This is the big. These are a bigger one, and this one also has like really great examples of almost way too overdone. That's an almost way too overdone, but yeah, but it's still good though. It's still good. If a hop cone actually goes like bad, in terms of like you wouldn't want to use it, it would actually smell bad. So, since some of my vines are like 15 feet long, and I can't have like 15 feet of stuff here, so I'm going to probably be taking sections off, especially like these big boy hops, which these are actually like big boy hops because earlier, well, we'll get to it once we get over here, but I'm going to work down the vine. But like, we've got some really good proper branching on this guy, which is good, because good branching means healthy hop, and also when they branch, you get more hops. Because right now where I'm working, at every node, I'm getting like a hop on either side of the node. Basically, one hop at each base of leaf, whereas when we get further down, the number of hops is actually going to pick up, and that's good. More hops means more bittering chemicals, more beer preservation chemicals, and that also means hopefully I'll get enough for an actual full batch of beer. I was a little nervous at one point this year because I didn't have my I did a big trellis upgrade this year, and as part of that trellis upgrade, I got a lot more vertical height for my hops, and yeah, but I didn't actually get as many hop binds moving their way up all the various like things I set up, and I was like, wonder what happened there. Which I think I kind of know what happened there, and that's I have a lot of goldenrod in that area, and I think I let the goldenrod get a little bit too big. And what happened is the goldenrod shaded the hops out when they were younger, and the hops didn't grow as well as they could have if I didn't do anything. So I need to be mindful of my how I treat goldenrod around my hops, which, considering how this year went, oh yeah, that's a monster. Yeah, actually I want to snip that off, show you guys. And there's a lot of useful tools when you're harvesting your hops, but good old pair of good shears, definitely very good. But yeah, this is kind of what I mean by hop branching, where the hops kind of just explode out. This is like, just get so much hop. Get a lot of hops. I'm gonna say hops a lot this stream. But that's also like the theme of the stream is hops. This is the relaxing, more kind of homesteady stream, where it's not about the actual like manufacturing of beer. It's just about the pre-process before manufacturing beer. Which, honestly, if I was more prepared, I would have like slides or something. But who knows? Maybe next year. Granted, this is also something I've this was kind of like when I was like first wanting to like become a VTuber and such. This was like one of those like early things I really wanted to like do for as like just as a thing to do the thing, you know? Oh wait, I actually still have all this stuff here in this complex, which it's literally a complex of hops. But yeah, I mean, starting to get a good amount of coverage on the bottom of my thing here, so hopefully once everything is in and done, hopefully I'll be able to call this a good year for hops. Which I certainly hope it is, considering the... I missed one. Oh. Considering the amount I leveled up the trellis bud. And then I swung one. Might have to be a little bit more mindful here of what I got going on, which is probably what I should be doing. But yeah, the best way to be like thorough is kind of just take the leaves, fold them back, like go down the vine, and then that way you're exposing all the hops, and then you can kind of just like work your way down the vine. But yeah, it's pretty easy, pretty easy going stuff. It's just home hop harvesting is definitely one of those more tedious activities. It's not as fun as, say, perhaps like harvesting corn. Whereas when you're like harvesting corn, you're just like going through the rows, ripping ears off stalks, and just like you can go through a patch of corn pretty quickly at the small level, at the small growers level. Yeah, that smells good. That's good. That's good hops. That's good hops right there. Yeah. Whereas, like, with hops, it's a lot of this for just a couple ounces. Ooh. Wow. Okay. Okay. Excuse me a moment. I had a spider trying to yeet itself off my hand, and I wanted to stay still long enough so he or she could get going to where they wanted to go. But yeah, I will say this as like a heads up. Yeah, if you do this, like be mindful that there's tons of spiders in this stuff. There's definitely spiders galore in hops. Spiders love hops. They love hanging out in hops because, like, you're growing hops like high up on like a trellis with support and such. It's like not only is it like a good support for like the hops, it's also a good support for like a spider's nest. Like they can build it up off the hop vines and into the air and score themselves some sweet prey. But yeah, it's like almost ideal hop as far as for like harvesting. Like it's a really light color, and then you also have like the golden goodness of the lupine powder. That is a perfect example of a ready hop, which another tedious aspect is sometimes you'll get like small leaves at the top of your cone, and you gotta yeet those off. Well, you don't have to, but it's just, you just have higher quality hops. It's just less of a, because like I don't think hop leaves really contribute much of anything to a beer. Granted, it would be fun as an experiment someday to just like take liquefied hop plant and just dump it into the the brew kettle. See what brew comes out. That would be fun with something that would be like low risk. I wouldn't want to do that with like a high risk beer. High risk by being a beer I would want to turn out well. Because like the beer that I'm going to use all of these guys on, that beer is called my Cometing Corners Pale Ale, and that is because the majority of these hops are Comet hops, primarily because that's the primary hop that grows. brightness. Let's see, we've got all this. I yank on that, that's a whole bunch of stuff. So if I do a snip there, I'm gonna have to really review what's going on with everything. Okay, yeah, I'm here. I'm doing all right. That's good. That's good. Oy, oy. Okay. Sip of beer. Oh, nope. Oh, hey, that randomly sprung. So, remove you, and we'll bring you back. Plop. Woo! Yay! I think one of the issues I've been having from like a tech perspective has been so because I move my setup so much, I think some of my connections are loose. Granted, I don't like the fact that if I so much as bump something, then it will do. I'll get a beep boop, and then you guys probably see me freeze frame for a little bit. So, but for now, I'm just willing to live with the tech issues because, you know, whatevs. Not a big deal. It's not like I'm actually doing a Stardew stream today. Granted, Stardew stream will be on Thursday. We'll be in winter. Can't grow hops in winter. What season do you grow hops in Stardew Valley? I think that's summer. Summer crop. But yeah, it's always real fun because you'll get a leaf right on top of your hop cone, and you just want to. I just eat it off because I'm a stupid perfectionist about things. Which, speaking of perfectionists, I have a loop of hops around my hops. So I'm going to remove the loop, expose the underbelly of deliciousness, and yeet the deliciousness into the actually, we even got kind of an example of what happens when it doesn't smell sour, but that was a hop. That was a hop. And that's kind of like, that was actually my motivating factor for upgrading the hop trellis, was to make it taller. So that way all my hops would have more climbing to do. Because right now we're pretty far into the season for hops and such. And so say a hop vine doesn't grow all the way up, well, it'll start producing hops around this time and be like, okay, I'm still going to get a crop in even though I haven't grown to my full maximum potential or anything. But if I have a taller trellis, then the hop vines that do well, which is this one that I'm working on right here, they can do well. And then, because I would have hops that would they would just shoot up the trellis. And there were times where the shorter lengths of my trellis were 10 feet, which honestly is not a lot. That's definitely not what commercial growers do. Because I think commercial growers have 20 plus feet. And then also the brewery that made this beer, they have a farm where they actually do grow a couple of their, they do small batch hop growing, just as like a side thing, because that's kind of one of the fun things about this brewery, West 6, is they like to do side things. They are definitely very Miss Frizzle in the get messy, make mistakes, and learn stuff. Especially considering the fact they made that they made that one beer called Sapsucker, where they literally took tree sap from, also once again from said farm, and tree sap and also tree bark, and made that into an English mild beer that actually turned out pretty good. But the beer definitely tasted like you were drinking a tree, which for my tree loving crazy self, I see that as a good thing. Like, I see that as very much a good thing. Other people may not be as like, it may not sound as like appetizing to them too. To be told, hey, here's a tree, you're now going to drink it. Well, here's a glass, and if you want to know what the beer notes are like, it's tree. It's tree, but it was very tannic. And for those who don't know what like tannic flavors are, kind of think like almost like too strong red wine, kind of. It's a bitterness. It's not a hop style bitterness, but tannins are actually a class of acids that were traditionally used in tanning. But like a lot of plants produce tannins. You get tannins in the skins of grapes, for instance, which is why sometimes some wines will be described as having like a tannic flavor to them. But that's because of the tannins from the grapes, like the actual skin of the grapes, came through into the actual wine. Whereas traditionally, I associate tannins with like acorns, because if you eat the wrong acorn, you will have one of the most intensely bitter experiences of your life. And by eat the wrong acorn, that's eating a red oak acorn. You don't want to eat a red oak acorn raw, and you actually have to like do a reasonable bit of proper identification on your acorn to make sure it came from a white oak. White oak ones are generally sweeter, and that also depends on the part of the acorn that you consume. So, for example, if you kind of think about how you've seen squirrels eat acorns, you might have noticed that squirrels will like eat like 2/3 of the acorn, and then they'll chuck the rest. Well, that the rest is the part closer to the end. I have a hop leaf there. I'm gonna get that out. And that part they eat, that part's also very bitter, because the bitterness actually concentrates towards the pointed end of the acorn. So I'm at a point right here where I've got multiple binds on my string. So see, we got like 1, 2, we got like 3. Everything here is wound very tight. So I have to be really careful as I go through this and get my hops knocked out. Because otherwise, I'm going to end up with unnecessary amounts of leaf. I'm going to end up with leaf in my cones, man. And this isn't like actual like This isn't the plant for leaf, if you will. Granted, granted, hops are related to the marijuana, which is why if you look at said leaf and wonder why it looks, that looks similar to another leaf that is recreationally used. Yeah, that's why. Hops and the cannabis are actually in the same family of plants. Granted, they're definitely like differently. They're different plants. Shucks, when I had my guy friend living with me, when he saw some of my hops one time, he was like, "Man, you better not let a cop see that. They're gonna think you're growing something you're not supposed to be growing." And it's like, it's on a really, really tall trellis, and like the hop season's actually not like super long because like the hops really come up around April. Get them trellised up, usually into April, early May, and then okay, big spider. So, yeah, wow. Okay, so that's our new friend, that brown dot. So there's a trick for dealing with guys like that. Whoa. Uh-oh. I don't like that. I saw where... Okay, I see where he is. He's hiding. But that's fine. Yeah, he's scared. He's really scared. He's just like, whoa, man, I had a life. I had a house. I was about to get me a man and eat him alive. Oh. Is he still... Damn it, I did not expect to pull that one through. Okay, so what I did essentially is I cut that, and I'm hoping our friend is hanging out here. And then I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the friend bind and toss it. And then hopefully we can get our hops here. and keep having a good time. Yikes! That's a jump scare. That is definitely the thing. Granted, this thing is just like way too dense. Way too dense. But it is dense with the green gold that makes beer taste good. And I am a beer enthusiast. I'm also a huge plant enthusiast. And that's what happens when you like beer and you're a plant enthusiast. You end up growing the plants that make beer. I haven't grown barley yet though. Just because actual like grain processing is like, just the descriptions of the labor involved are like way too much. Like yes, you're probably looking at seeing what I'm doing today and just realizing that picking cones off one by one from a hop bind is probably not your ideal way of like a good time. Which is funny because some people think like if you get like into like growing hops and doing stuff like this, you're gonna like be a negative influence to others, you know? And it's like, the thing is, actual alcoholics do not have the experience, they don't have the patience to make their own schnapps. Is that a spider? No, that's just a stain on the leaf. Good. Good. I don't want to get jump scared by any more spiders. Which I know that's going to happen. Just statistically. I just don't want it to get jump scared by big spiders. Granted, if I get if I work through this and I somehow find a spider that is big as like the spiders that hang out on summer camp boating docks, holy smokes, I'm gonna jump out of my skin. I'm just gonna automatically jump out of my own skin and be like, okay, well, I've probably have soiled myself, but thankfully I don't have like spiders that big around my house. I've had some good-sized spiders. I've had good-sized spiders made. It's funny, over a period of like probably like 3 weeks or so one year, I had like one of those big spiders that makes a big nest, well, like a big web, and said spider figured the best place to stick the big web was on the other side of my front door, which normally isn't an issue. However, though, I gotta open my mailboxes, like, because I've got like one of the mailboxes that's like on the side of my like house. Yeah, I yeeted myself out the door and into a massive, truly massive spider web one time. And then the spider web was like there like another day, and it was like, well, I'm not a fan of this situation. Okay. I've got that string. How much of this? How much of this? What are we looking like of this? Okay. Ooh. We're pulling you apart. You got some string to you. So, I got this great big guy. He's got string that I need to unwind. And he's got some... So he's got some accessory vines, which I'm gonna just clip those, just because I wanna, anytime, because of how, sometimes it can be a little logisticy to work through like a whole mess of binds if they're all together like this one here is. If there are any that are like jutting off to the side or something, I will just cut just those off into short sections and then take care of them separately before I get into like tackling like the big thing. And that's just what I do to do a little bit of quality of life for myself. Just try to do that little bit of quality of life for myself. Woo. Okay. Well, what do we got here? So I'm starting towards the bottom. Well, what was the bottom? And I know this because there's not a great deal amount of hops. Believe it or not, I don't typically get a lot of hop cones from the first like 5 feet of hop plant, because the hop plant makes most of its cone, and like this one's a jungle. This one's truly a jungle. This is where I'm gonna really have to watch out for I'm gonna have to watch out for friends and hope they're friendly and hope they're not angsty at me for essentially destroying their home. But I'm also the one who made the home. So I wonder how they would feel about that. Like, how would you feel if, ooh, there's a grass spider that just came out of the hot box. So that meant I yeeted that spider into there at some point. But yeah, if anyone out there is not a fan of spiders, don't grow your own hops. Do yourself a favor. Don't grow your own hops. You're not going to have a good time doing this. Me, I am on a pretty good I see spiders as my friend. Spiders are my friend. Ooh, can I kind of separate this a little bit, maybe? Sort of? Kind of? A little bit, just a little bit. Okay, you just want to help me out a little bit? Thank you. Which I'll take every last little bit of help I can get. That I certainly will. Gotta get that leaf off. Get this, and then that's very small. Then we got 1 and 2. Good. Okay. Ooh, hey. Volunteer came off. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks for making my life a little bit easier there. Okay, so we got that taken care of there. So we just continue on our magical journey. And we're not on a magical journey to see a wizard or a forest witch or any such creatures. We are on a magical journey to get ingredients to brew a beer. You know what that would make for a fun book? A fun... I wonder how much of a journey you can, how much of a thing you can make it for just okay, we're gonna go do stuff, but we're doing stuff to go get beer. Ooh, wait. What are you? I don't think... No, you're not. You're not what I thought you were. Okay. We got a friendly. Oh, wait. There you are. Woo! And going up the arm. Here. You can hang out in the hops. Also, if you're not into bugs... I wonder what he's got going on. As I say, as I watch one of my friends, I'm getting constant my friend is now playing this game. And it's if you just boot up the game once and start playing, you're having fun, right? Right? That's how it works, right? And it's you know what? I actually don't understand the mind of an actual true gamer. And said friend is actually a true gamer. Unlike I think a good idea of a good time is just to chillax in Stardew Valley or boot up good old Age of Empires 2. I am a die fan of Age of Empires 2. Which I do kind of... I want to play it at some point on the stream. But I would actually like to do that as almost a... I'd like to do it as a collab or something. Let's see. And yep, I got you here. You've got really nice healthy cones, which looking really good. And am I getting another? Are you something else? Okay. Sorry, I'm getting very distracted by bugaboos crawling up my legs. Cause yeah. There's a lot of life in these binds, I tell you. There is a lot of life in here. Some would say too much. Me... Nah, it's alright. It's alright. I haven't got... Because the way some of them have felt going up the leg, it's felt almost tickish. And it's like, now if it was a tick, I wouldn't be okay with that. But if it's non-blood sucking insect, I'm not too worried about it. But we're almost at the end of this monstrosity, which is good. Got a good. I'd say we're doing pretty good on our hop quantities right now. Like, that looks like a pretty. That's a pretty good amount of hops right there. I'm gonna have to. Granted, after. Well, I'll probably load the dehydrator after stream because these will all go into the dehydrator afterwards. But yeah, that's another bind picked through, and I want to set them because I've got one area for smaller stuff, and then I've got another thing for like larger stuff. Ooh yeah! Oh man, that's great. This is a nice. This is handleable. This is nice and handleable. I can work with this level of hop. Ah. Yeet. Whoa. There we go. Those. Granted, at some point I might have to grab a new box. The way this one's filling up. Because I thought if I filled this up, I'd be doing pretty good. Which I think after I get through with this bind, I'll give it a lift. Give it the good old lift test. See how much heft it has. Granted, we're actually working with... These are wet hops right now. So these are like fresh, green, wet hops, which is traditionally when I work with hops in beer, I'm working with pelletized hops, and those are dry. So even if I'm using just a few ounces, there's a fair amount of hop there. So by the time we get all these harvested and dried down, they're gonna get very light. Very light. Get very papery too. Because like, think these cones look papery? Well, you're right. They are papery. There we go. Oh, well, that was a short section that just let go. So we'll just keep bringing it around and continue down the bind. Okay. Oh, then we actually have to make a little bit of progress before we actually counter anything. Then we come down to here. Got some stuff there. We have some really small things here, which I'll go for just because there was a couple of them there. So I could just grab a few right quick. Otherwise, if it was just like one, it probably wouldn't be worth it. Let's see. We got that string, that pulled out. Those. And Just the way it tore sounded like I had some leaf in that, and I didn't want leaf. I'm trying to keep my leaf out. Not trying to keep the leaf out of my hops, man. I just want good old 100% high quality cones. I don't need no leaves in this stuff. I just need the good stuff that makes good beer. Which this stuff is going to make really good beer. Really looking forward to it. Which will probably be my next beer brewing stream. Because I think it's been a while. Like, how long has it been since I did beer? A month ago. Okay, not that long ago then. I thought it was a while ago. And that just shows how much. It just shows how much summer's taken out of me, man. The summer's been brutal, and it's gonna get. And of course, according to the weather speakers, it's gonna get really, really bad before it actually gets good. Well, like the weather like turns around and kind of gets a little bit good. Okay. So I've been sipping that too much. I'm gonna have some water. Oh gosh, yeah. Gotta have the water. Whew. Okay. So let's find our next victim. So the first couple of guys we had on here were pretty big. Now the ones on the bottom, where I'm getting to now, these are smaller. These are a lot smaller. So these are a lot more, on one hand, manageable, but also just means take a little bit more work working on these guys. Or at least while they're small. Well, it's small and a little bit hard to get to them. Then as I get work down the line, my job should get easier. Should get easier. Care that. You know that. A little bin's starting to fill up, though. Definitely looking pretty good for getting enough crop to actually brew a batch of beer with. Which for me is like the success metric for this crop is if I grow enough hops to brew one batch of beer, especially a pale ale, like if I can throw like 4 ounces dry hop of like just dry hops at the beer, then that's success. And yes, that is me saying a 4-ounce harvest is success, but that's what this comes down to. So if I give this a bit of a heft test, there's more than 4 ounces here. I don't think it's a pound, but it's a fair amount. Okay. Come here, you wily one. Here we are, wily one. Hang out. Sit for a spell. Just chill, relax. I'm just gonna be harvesting your hops. I'm just going to be plucking your unfertilized children. Because if the hop flowers actually got fertilized, there would actually be seeds in these cones. But hops don't. Hops typically don't get fertilized. You actually need a male plant for the hop to get fertilized. And man, you want to hear some stories about guys getting treated badly, like male hop plants. Like, you don't want to be a male hop plant, because in breeding programs, it's, guess what, buddy? Oh, you're male, you get like you get yeeted instantly, because there's actually very strict regulations in place regarding male hop plants, simply because of the fact that essentially if the hop cone gets pollinated, it essentially ruins the crop. It ruins the hop, so there's actually really stringent regulations in place to prevent these plants from getting fertilized. But that's also because this is also a big commercial crop, and the US is the #1 country in the world in hop production. So thanks, hipsters, for that. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of stuff here. I don't want to move too quickly. Like, on one hand, I don't want to agonize over every little leaf, but underneath these leaves, we got some stuff we can harvest. We gotta get what we can. Let's see, this one's looking... That one's looking pretty toasted. It actually smells good, so... Passes the smell test, it gets yeeted into the bin. Neutral on that, so... And bada bang. That's another. That's probably like good 8 foot of vine. Wait, is that one plucked? That one looks plucked. Okay. We're actually getting through this. Then, how do I want to do this guy? It's going to be pick an end, any end. Actually, here, wait, can I separate these two? Or are you part of the same thing? You're just looped. Oh, you're looped onto yourself. Okay. Okay, you're just looped up on yourself. No beer was spilled. Because that can's almost done. Okay. So we're gonna start here. So this is towards the bottom. So we're basically going up now. And these are also what happens when hops kind of hit their highs. They'll branch out like this, like in a big way. And then on these branches, you'll have hop cones. Granted, a lot of these are pretty small. They're small. But the thing is, if I let those mature, the actual cones that really good cones, those would have actually just went bad on me. And it's kind of like a thing with home hop cultivation is. You gotta learn to know when to pull your binds. You gotta know when it's like, okay, if I leave this here, I will technically get a few more ripe cones, but that might cause some of these other cones to overripen and become bad. And you kind of just gotta be like, okay, what do I want to do? Well, it's like any farmer, gardener, any other cultivator of plants, is to evaluate and consider your options and go from there. For me, I'm generally, if I'm doing a thing like today where it's like today's like the day I'm pulling most of them, because I left three binds because I didn't see a whole lot of my yellow powder at the base of the cone, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave those binds alone just so they can ripen up a little bit more. And I think that's the good decision. Whereas rest of these, like, that's the thing, like even these small cones, they have the yellow lupine powder, so that means they're reasonably ready. Because sometimes the hop cones don't always like fully. Ooh, I heard thunder. I hope that means rain's incoming. I would really appreciate like a good rain. I did set my sprinkler up yesterday just to get some water thrown at the garden, so that way I could hopefully buy time for today. Because I was hoping we would get rain today, and we're now here like into the evening hours and it's like no rain, and I'm like, man, I want rain. I don't want to have to constantly water my garden. I'd like to get like a good rain, and then okay, I'm gonna set you off to the side because I've got actually two binds up here. Okay. Get through this one. And we're almost through that one. Now officially through it. Okay. And then I've got this guy, which I'm not seeing anything on. So, cool. Okay, man. We're tearing through these. Doing really good. It's actually not too bad in terms of like time. But so it's been hot. I've been hydrating. So I'm gonna do a quick BRB. I'm also gonna refill my Bluesky, and yeah, we'll get back to it. Okay, and we're back. So we're actually gonna get have an actual proper IPA, second fiddle IPA. Well, actually, it's a Simcoe IPA, made with Simcoe hops. A wonderful hop variety. Big fan of. Ah. Mmm. I want to have the beer somewhere, but I also want to have the beer in the spot where the beer. Actually, yeah, because that is one issue. Is like I don't want bugs getting into the beer. That's like the most real aspect of like dealing with homegrown hops is but yeah, I'm getting lots of good. So the sky has noticeably darkened, and I'm getting some good rumbles. So I'm hoping by the time I end stream today, I'll have a good rain coming in. Certainly hope I get a good rain. I want a good rain, man. I want to get a good rain in. Hopefully, kind of maybe chill things. Honestly, I just want things to chill. It's been... Wow, is that it for this guy? Ooh. Looks... yeah. Oh. Okay, that's reasonably it for that one. And onto the pile. And let's grab another one. Ooh, you're biggin'. How big of a biggin'? You're very biggin'. Okay. I think we're gonna slice you in half. And we'll save that for last, because that's mine. So I've got... yeah, you're picked through, you're good. Okay. Okie dokies. So, after we get through this one, I've got only one more bind, and we will be done for the day. That's good. Actually meant this didn't take too long. This whole day has been like realizing, you know what, that didn't take too long. Which I think that's kind of, yeah, that's been the realization for today. Because for like work, it was like, today's job was like, we didn't like fully finish the install, but we got enough work done to get them back in AC. And they're back in AC once again. Which I was actually really impressed with the homeowner today, because whoa, that was a... holy smokes, that was some like really cool spider parkour. Like, I had a spider crawling down my chest, then just jumped onto my arm, ran down my arm to one of my knuckles, and just yeeted himself onto the table. And he was white too. It was like a white spider with a big badonkadonk. Well, wait, spiders, they have thorax, right? It's like head and thorax only. Sorry, I don't know a lot. I am not super knowledgeable with bugs. Because I know you have like Like a proper insect is like 3 parts. Brandon, I'm trying to think of. So thorax is like the far end, right? I think so. I don't know. I don't immediately know off the top of my head, but that was some genuinely cool spider parkour. But yeah, that's how friendly I am with spiders. Is I can have a spider do some like sick parkour off of me and just admire it and be like, okay. I'll drink a beer to that. Okay, I'm gonna do a slicey dices on this last big one, so I can get it to a manageable size. So this is half-ish of it. Granted, this last one's we're gonna get like some serious hops off this. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be really nice. Granted, I'm gonna have to watch myself because there's gonna be a lot. There's just lots of greenery in here. So there's lots of places for hops to hide. They've got hiding spots. Which actually, speaking of hiding spots, and if I can do this number, so what's the crazy VTuber doing? Well, I thought I understood how this guy was going. So I know how the hop do, and how the hop and what the hop do is the hop corkscrews. So I had this small youngin branch wrapped around my bigger, older vines, and because I knew how the hop grew, or like its growth pattern, I could just unwind it. Off that helps me not damage the hops on either it or the other one. Whew. And helps me get all my hops off. There we go. Yoink! Ooh, and there's another friend. Right there. So I'm going to be really careful. Yoink down there. Come over here. Yoink. And then we're going to kind of do some lateral yoinking, which that definitely does not sound weird. And we're going to try and keep the harvest going while also trying to not disturb the bugaboo. Because you know the bugaboo's just trying to live. However, though, I'm trying to lay the groundwork for my next batch of beer. Human priorities versus other priorities. Other priorities. Just trying to stay alive. Just trying to vibe. Just trying to have a good time. Me, I'm also trying to have a good time. Several months after having a good time. Like, you have the good time of brewing the beer, and then you have a good time bottling it, and then you actually have a whole bunch of good times. Not only have you bottled good times, but then you can crack open those bottles to ensure future revelry down the line. Ooh. Okay, thank you, computer. Well, it looks like I got a new looks like I got a new driver update for the GPU. exciting. Oh, wow, look, hops. Hops have just fallen onto the table. They're doing their job for me. They're just coming off the vine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Granted, this really hasn't actually been like a whole lot of work. That was when I first like laid everything out in here. I was like, I don't know, this is looking like a fairly good-ish amount of work. But I'd say so far we're doing really swell. How do they How do they commercially harvest them? Do they shake the hell out of them? First off, welcome in. No, they actually use a machine for it. I think what it is they probably run the bind through a cutter and then air separate the hops out. Because like a commercial combine pulls the grain in, and then it has like it pulls the grain off the head, say off like barley, wheat, rye, etc. And then it just whittles it out within the machine. I think that's how it's done. I honestly don't know. There is honestly no way where they would actually probably be bothered to do this the good old hand-picked method. Yeah, because I think the leaves, being the leaves they are, will probably catch the air a lot better than the hops will. And then they get air separated out. That's how I presume. I presume that. Which actually, I was reading over the Wikipedia article for hops earlier, and I do remember, yeah, because like hops, because the first original mechanical hop separator was invented by Emil Clemens Horst in 1909. It was patented in 1909. So let's see. It picked the hops while discarding the bind and leaves. It produced 25 bales of hops in one day, while an experienced worker picked just 2 bales in a week. Oh, that is definitely some massive. A quick Google search states a process that sounds like what you're talking about. Okay, I was just presuming based off how I know how like other mechanical separators work. So it's kind of like I'm spitballing, but I'm spitballing based off of how other types of machines work. Yeah, it is massive. Like it's really interesting to think of just how stupidly efficient like modern mechanical farming is, just like on another level. Granted, it's also one of several reasons why the US is just an absolute monster in agricultural production. Because okay, so Wikipedia actually only has the 2020 numbers, so based off the 2020 numbers and hop output, it's US is number 1. We're number 1, which is actually a good number 1 this time to be in. I'm not used to my country having good number 1s. But Germany is definitely very hot on our heels, and I have heard in recent years that some hop production's been, because like how beer usage is going down, with people here in the US. That is. Hey, I will take any chance to like proudly say USA, USA, USA that I get, because usually when I think of USA #1, it's granted also, well, actually, yeah. Some people like to think our national debt's worrisome. Well, too bad. We actually have there's a country out there that has a worse debt situation than we do. And that country is called Japan. But yeah, it will not take a lot. It would take like if Germany was to make an extra 800 tons of hops in a year, they would overtake us. It's like really close. And then it's also interesting. It's really interesting seeing China in #3. I don't really think of China as like a beer drinking country, because China has its world's complicated, right? Yes, world is definitely complicated. I am a big fan of the world's complicated, and that's just how it is. Because life is also more interesting that way. Because if everything was like simple and straightforward, like things would be more boring. There'd be less to figure out, fewer things to analyze. Like if you could just like make like the best beer ever easily, well, there you took all the fun effort part. China loves beer. The same cows everywhere. Also, no real drinking age. Oh, interesting. I wonder if they're a hop importer though, because I don't think they're. Because those domestic production numbers doesn't really say much about supporting like a big beer drinking population. Granted, I wouldn't be surprised that the U.S. is like a big agricultural exporter of hops. Granted, I do see Australia and New Zealand on there because their hops are also really good. And granted, then I also see Spain too. Also, I know China is also... The Chinese have their sorghum beer. It's a sorghum-based alcoholic beverage. I know if you're just like casually referring to it, people in other circles will call it like sorghum beer, but I don't know what the actual like proper name for that beverage is. But from what I understand, it's weird. Because it's a thing that's consumed in China and also parts of Africa. And I can also see China. Oh yeah, it was fine. I had it in China, but forgot everything about its taste. Ah, okay. A solid find, you know what? Good. Man, you went to China? That must have been exciting. Not gonna lie, I want to visit like lots of countries. China admittedly kind of scares me. Because of all like the surveillance and stuff. Granted, I know it happens here too. It's just we don't talk about it here. If we don't talk about it, then I don't have to think about it. It's a little bit more in your face over there. Oh! Oh, goodness gracious. I am so sorry. It was. We went for my associate. Oh, Beijing, Hong Kong, Macau. Okay. Also, we have a friend who's now looking at us. Yeah, it was a bunch of years ago now. It feels less comfortable going there now. Yeah. But yeah. Okay, so I've had some friends show up, but not like friends like this dangerous. But yeah. Oh, a whole praying mantis. Oh my gosh. Look at you. You were just so pretty, and you were just like got your eyeballs locked on me. You were like, oh man, how dare this guy? How dare this guy? Is like, oh, are you the reason why I don't have too many big bugs? You've just been killing everybody? But you're looking so healthy. Oh, you're very cute too. Some people wouldn't call praying mantises cute, but I consider praying mantises cute. Which, okay, so we currently have a praying mantis like on screen right now, so I'm now obligated to tell a story from years past, and what the story is. I saw this weird thing. It was this like weird brown thing in one of my grandparents' fields, and I basically snapped off the twig, and then I took the thing and I took it to show and tell. Coincidentally, this was like a 3rd grade thing I did. So I took the thing to the third grade show and tell. I think I did the show and tell, and then I inadvertently left it in my desk because I had like the wood top desk where it was like a metal bottom, and that brown thing was a praying mantis egg sac thing, and yeah, eventually those eggs hatched, and I basically let off a praying mantis bomb in the classroom in 3rd grade. Good times. Admittedly, I was actually kind of embarrassed about it because I was like, oh no. But yeah, like, just beautiful. Which I don't think I've actually... I'm trying now to think if I've actually seen like many praying mantises at the homestead, but you are the like #1 reason why I am not like a huge user of insecticides. You know that? Because if I got guys like you on my side, then they're cute, but closest relatives, cockroaches and termites aren't at all. Yeah, I definitely think the praying mantises are definitely like a 10 out of 10 cute. Whereas like the termites and cockroaches aren't. Especially considering the fact I inadvertently discovered for a period of time I actually had termites in my house. What had happened was I had a piece of mortar fall off around one of my basement windows, and that created an opening. And they used that opening to get into the house, and well, the opening eventually got sealed because another insect found out about that hidey hole, and that other insect was yellow jackets. And I didn't get like a swarm or anything, but I would, like every so often, I would end up with like a yellow jacket in my master bathroom. And then I eventually discovered the hole, and I sealed it. And then when I sealed it, oh no! Well, yeah, it was fun, but I hit those buggers hard, and then I sealed the hole, and I haven't had issues since then. I have since discovered like some of the old termite damage, but it doesn't look like it spread or anything, so I'm not worrying about it right now. Because those were definitely like wet termites where they have like the mud tunnels. And that's actually one of the house maintenance things I will do is I'll just do a lap around the house and I'll just look for stuff, like anything weird. Granted, I also take the time to like pull Virginia Creeper off the house and stuff. Okay. You, sir, are clearly having your best life. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lower you. I am very interested in the rest of this. At school, we found a mantis that was 8 to 10 inches long. We had to carry it away in a 5-gallon bucket. Ooh, nice. I don't think I've seen like any of those like big mantises, but like any mantis is good mantis, which like the amount of this mantis is just checking me out. Like this mantis is just like, dude, I am so tired of being shaken. So sorry, chat, you gotta say goodbye to the buddy. The buddy is gonna get... I need to put you somewhere. Sorry, buddy, I'm gonna stick you where I can kind of keep an eye on you. I don't want you taking off. Cause... Oh. Sorry, the hop was very springy. So, you can chill for a little while. Out there. I'm sure you'll be fine there. Yeah. You're there. So yeah. Sorry, but the mantis has got to go. Well, the mantis has got to just chill. I'm pretty sure he was getting tired of shucking around like that. He's like, buddy, there's no wind speed here. And I'm like, too bad. My shaking hand's the wind speed. But yeah, first thing I'm going to be doing after stream is releasing mantis back into the wild, and by wild, I mean I'm going to release them back into the hop growing area I have, the hop yard. He's going to go back out there. And hopefully we'll live a good, long, happy life, make some kiddos, and I get a good, strong mantis population. Okay. Let's see what we got here. This is gonna be the last of the hops. So this is our final bit of hoppy goodness right now. But yeah, you will find lots of fun critters on hops. It's most of the time it's spiders. Lots of spiders. Spiders love hops. But I've also found tree frogs doing this, which I think it's probably been a little too dry right now this time of year for there to be much frog action, so I don't think we'll see any tree frogs with this last guy. But it would be cool if we did see a tree frog, though. I like tree frogs. Frogs are cool. Rain of spiders. Oh man, like it was funny earlier. I had a spider parkour down my shirt, jump onto my arm, roll down my arm, and then parkour jump off my knuckle, run down bench, jump, then parkour off the bench. And all the time frame of like 5 seconds. And I was just like, okay, that's impressive. That's reasonably impressive. I could not have done all that movement, all that action in like 5 seconds. Granted, I mean, that's also the thing about when you're human is, when you're small, you're mighty. But when you're big, you're one hand big, but also very soft and very squishy. Granted, getting an equally impressive pile of hops here. Definitely going to be looking forward to seeing what this is all like once it's dried out. If I actually got good weight, then that means... Granted, I reckon I'm getting definitely pretty close to beer brewing levels. Enough for a whole beer. Because it was funny when I first started... Because when you start growing hops, it's probably going to be like 3 years before you get a good harvest. And then after that, you're going to make the discovery that all hop growers make. And that is, oh no, you've planted hops. You now have whoops all hops for the area you've planted them at. Hops are very aggressive plants. So do bear that in mind if you make the decision to grow hops at home. They're a very aggressive plant once established. A lot like mint. Mint is a terribly aggressive plant. It's probably one of the few plants I would genuinely recommend growing it in containers just for containment purposes. Okay. If we get this cone taken care of, let's kind of start to round the corner a little bit here. Granted, that's actually a thing I want to do going into next year's hop growing regime. Is I actually want to go through the hop yard and actually dig up my rhyme zones and see how they're doing. Granted, that might be part of a... I might even do that as part of a secondary stream. You know what? That's reasonable. Sometimes when these cone... Because that's an overripe hop cone right there. Sometimes they'll get a sour smell to them if they truly like rot, but I think the biggest reason I haven't gotten much like sour notes off of them is because of the dryness. I think it's been too dry and they can't actually proper rot, so they're kind of just sort of dried out, which coincidentally means some of my work has been done for me. Because I'm used to these being like having like a sour smell to them, but as you can see, there's plenty of golden beer flavoring goodness there. So right now it's all Hakuna Matata, no worries. Okay, so I have... Okay, so what I have is I have diverging paths through the hops, so. And in the face of diverging paths, I'm gonna go ahead and can I separate you? Please, thank you. Please and thank you. There we go. Cool. So I've got a little bit left at the end of this, and then I've got this to go through. That's kind of the thing with some of these bigger, more load-in binds is there are also multiple binds on my runner string. Because if we go to the base here, so here's the base where I cut everything off at, and we've got one running string, but we've got 3 binds climbing it, which is a lot of hops and not a lot of area. Very dense, very dense with bitter flavors for beer. Okay, let's pinch you off. Put you over there, and then I want to. Okay, good. The mantis is behaving. He or she has not moved. It's good. I don't want to have to look for the mantis after stream. I just want to be like, okay, you've been chilled. You entertained me and chat. I hope you continue to have good life in my hop fields. Do. Ooh. There we go. Here. I don't have the best focus with my camera, but another small little bugaboo. Which that's generally most of the bugaboos you'll see. It's like small little guys. Small little guys who like to chill out high in the sky. You know, above the drama of the lower bugs' life, I guess. Okay. I hear you, Weather. You're being very foreboding right now. Please follow that up with a lot of rain. And hey, nature just rumbled right back at me after I was being sassy with her, so hopefully she'll take care of my rest of the plants that I've got going on. Please and thank you. Okay, so we are in the home stretch here, which I'm really surprised at how well things have went on today. My goodness. And with that, we are now done with all the hop binds I gathered. So looks like we pretty much have ourselves a full tray of hops. How's our heft? Ooh, that's got a good little bit of heft. Okay. This is... Oh! Spider. Spider. Just multiple spiders. But yeah. Rain of spiders, very true. That's hops. And that's hops. Okay. So I'm gonna run right quick and grab my scale. We'll get a weigh in, and after that we'll probably be wrapping up. Yoink a scale. Okay, here we have scale. Scale, actually. How do I orient things so you guys can see them? Let's see. Yep, there we go. I think that's pound and ounces, so. So it looks like we've gotten ourselves 1 pound. Sorry, I'm gonna have to check. Oh, that is on the pound to ounces scale. Oh wait, that's not even zeroed. Wait, what? Why? Okay. And we'll just do tear it. Now it's saying it's 11. So, I don't know. I liked it better when it said a pound. So, honestly, we'll call it a pound. We'll call it a pound. But yeah, so thanks for joining me for the 2025 hop harvest. Definitely not one of my most exciting things I do, but it's an annual thing at the homestead where I'm in a spot, I'm chilling, I'm relaxing. We got surprised by the myth, the legend, the mantis, which I will also grab like a really nice picture of post stream. So yeah, next time I'll be live will be on Thursday, so 2 days from now, same time. Be doing some Stardew Valley, a little bit more winter reorganizing, so should be a fun time. And with that, okay, so the rains came in, so I'm very excited about that. So I now have rain, so. And with that, I certainly hope you all have good luck with all the crops you've got going on out there, and have a good night. Bye-bye.